my calves are fucked.
Delete that.
Alright, what is up YouTube? So today we are with Gilles and VO2 Max today. So we're going to do some assessments, I guess, on my cardiac health and how I'm doing, I guess, with my lungs and everything there. So I guess Gilles, if you want to explain to people kind of what we're doing here, just so we promote your business and stuff.
So what we're going to do, a full, well, we're not going to do the resting metabolic rate on him right now, but we're going to be testing his VO2 Max, which that's the volume of oxygen that your body's absorbing. So not actually the volume of oxygen in your blood, but actually in your tissues. So that's important for longevity. It's also important, obviously, for your output, for your energy levels if you're playing sports. So the higher your VO2 max, the better you'll recover, the more energy and oxygen that you can have in your muscles to be able to fuel them, to be able to produce ATP cells. So we're going to be using that biomarker. That's the one that everybody knows, but we got another 26 different biomarkers. I'll be looking at how deep you're breathing, how fast you're breathing, what's your ventilation per minute. We're going to be looking at how much oxygen per breath you're taking, how much carbon dioxide you basically expelling, are you hyperventilating, hypocapnia, are you, how's your stroke volume in your heart, are you getting enough oxygen in your heart, tons and tons of information we're going to be doing on him. So we're going to be putting him on a treadmill, probably about a 15% incline, and we're going to slowly, incrementally increase the speed until he reaches his full 100% volume of oxygen, maximum exertion, where he's sweating and panting. And we're also going to be doing a spirometer test where we're going to test your lung capacity, your lung power, and see if you have any limitation there on that aspect as well.
Sounds like pretty good, and take advantage of that whole fitness avenue thing too. And you coach a lot of different people too, right? Like with the U.S. swim team, I believe, and
yes, we're going to be doing some athletes in Florida. So we're going to be training them. We train some NHL players. We also try to do with these the UFC guys and my boxers and all my professional athletes. We try to get them to increase their fat usage a lot. So a lot of people hear the term zone 2. What does zone 2 mean? It's where the body uses basically mostly fat. So above 50% of our fuel comes from fat. So I want to create that baseline as big as I can for my athletes. So if they're a hockey player, they're actually being able to conserve the glycogen levels and their carbohydrates for the third period. So the more I get them to use fat as a fuel, they're going to be way more efficient in the third period, making good plays, avoiding putting yourself in a vulnerable position because you're too tired. So there's so much to getting a metabolic analysis for a professional athlete that I do train, and it's like a perfect picture or video what you're doing now to your full physiology aspects. It's based on you. I'll know exactly where you burn the most fat, so you don't have to guess anymore.
Yeah.
And not use just a math equation from your watch. I'm going to be telling you, wow, Sean, you're burning 10 calories of fat per minute if you stick your heart rate at about 120. That's where basically, if you go for a nice stroll, keep your heart rate there, you're going to be burning a lot of fat. Not just that, you're going to be creating mitochondria, which we won't get into, but it's the mitochondria are the gift of life. If we run out of mitochondria, we basically die. So by doing some zone 2 training and fat max training, you're going to increase your mitochondrial density.
That's really good too, especially speaking from the bodybuilding community, because if people know and athletes know where they need to be burning fat and not more muscle or glycogen and stuff, then that's really kind of what we're trying to achieve on a bodybuilding perspective too. So,
and for bodybuilding too, it's important to have that cardiovascular because you can recover better, you can repair your muscles better. And I come from a bodybuilding world, not now, but you know, I won the Canadians in the small guy, the bantamweight. So I knew how important it was to still have a cardio aspect, to be able to recover way faster than you know, my friends. And they're always wondering why I recover better, because I always maintain a good zone 2 and still did a HIIT training once a week, which other bodybuilders weren't doing.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we're gonna strap me up here to the machines, and we're gonna get going here. So.
All right. So what you're going to do, Sean? You're going to take a big, deep breath. So we're going to do this maybe 2 or 3 times. So you're going to take a deep breath. You're going to make a full seal around it. So you're going to take a big breath. Fill the lungs. Insert. For a full 6 seconds. I want you to try to get rid of your air as much as you can in the 1 second without kind of like spitting or coughing. So full exhale. So try to get rid of your lungs as much as you can in 1 second, but continue for a full 6 seconds.
Okay.
All right, so when you're ready, go for it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Good sized lungs. We got almost 6 liter lungs, so 5.76 liters. His FEV1, which is his power lungs. So this is where you get your power from, what you exercise with. That 1 second value was 4.59 liters. So you're able to get rid of about 80% of your lungs in 1 second. So that's a pretty good number. So we'll try one more time. I want to see if you can actually get in 6 liters here.
Okay.
So one more. So you're going to do a big inhale and try to get rid of your air in that 1 second. Big. Power. Go. Keep going. Okay. All right. Now let's see what we got. Oh, so close. 5.96 liter lungs. And that's a 4.66 liter FEV1 score. So that is good.
So what do those numbers kind of mean there?
Well, I know that you don't have like any too much inflammation. You sound pretty darn clear. If I would have seen a number, when you look at your total lung capacity, the total lung, but then you could only like get rid of maybe 60% of your lungs in 1 second, you would have definitely a limitation there. So it could be something that you'd want to go see like a pulmonologist about. And you might have some asthma, or you would have basically some inflammation, some mucus.
Yeah.
So by doing some respiratory training with me, you would get rid of that mucus, which would reduce that inflammation and would be helping you fix that asthmatic, things. And it could be other things, there's COPD, pulmonary fibrosis. There's so many other things that we look for. We don't diagnose, but then we refer to a doctor. Yeah, but you don't have that. You're all good to go on the treadmill now.
So far.
All right.
My calves. Oh.
VO2 Max, 37 milliliters per minute per kilograms. You peaked at 133 liters of air that you were basically expiring. That's pretty good coordination. We reached an RER peak, so that tells me we worked you pretty hard. We went above, anything above 1 is really good. So we reached about 1.05, so I knew we pushed you hard. And your CO2 peak was actually higher than your VO2 peak. So you had to working hard. And through the whole test, you burned 68% of that test was carbohydrates, so 68.1%, and 31.9% was fat utilization, because at the start we ramped you up. So it's not bad of a test at all. So I'm looking at all the other statistics. We got another 10 seconds here. There we go. All right, now let's get this off. All right. Woo! How you feel? Calves are burning?
My calves are fucked.
Delete that.
Yeah, no. As soon as we went to 3+ there on the speed, my calves were just like.
Yeah, you're at 15%
Yeah.
incline, so that's like power hiking. It's like, let's get up that mountain as high as we can, right?
Need to do more cardio.
Yeah. Oh, I'll be chatting with you about some cardio for sure. Because we know if I can get you into the 40s, you'll be able to recover better from your workouts, get more volume of oxygen in those muscles to be able to push harder.
Is that what, like 40 liters, like pushing air out type thing?
Oh no, so that's the amount, like 37.1 was your VO2 max.
Okay.
That's how much oxygen you can actually absorb. But if I can get you absorbing a little bit more power, more energy, recovery, you name it. Now, the 134 liters is what you're expelling. So you're able to expel 133 liters, but with some respiratory training, with like my respiratory devices, like such, we can increase your lung size, your lung capacity, and your lung power.
So that's just from breathing into this apparatus there, right?
Exactly. So it's going to train you how to breathe deeper into your lungs, which the further we go into the branches, the more alveoli we have to be able, like an alveoli will have basically red blood cells here. So the deeper I get you breathing, the more alveoli basically is there to do that gas exchange, to be able to help you absorb more oxygen. So I can get you trained by breathing deeper, by practicing with an isocapnic device, and that would dramatically increase just doing this would dramatically increase your volume of oxygen, your VO2 max. It's also going to dramatically increase your VE peak, that's your total ventilation, which you got 133.67. And when I look at you, when you had 4.66, if you would use 100% of your lung capacity, you would be at 186 liters. So if I take 134, divide that by 186, so you're breathing 72%, which is pretty good. I always look for 75% and up.
Yeah.
But the more trained you are, you'd be able to ventilate like 170 liters, 175 liters. So I would be giving you an extra like 40 liters of you being able to breathe.
And that's more oxygen, and you're able to push harder and stuff there,
Exactly. So if I can give you 40 liters extra on that treadmill at the end, Well, you're going to absorb some of that 40 liters into your tissues, so your VO2 will go up. So if I train you how to breathe properly, deeper, more diaphragmatic, and using those respiratory muscles, your VO2 max will change. Even not doing any cardiovascular, I can increase your VO2 max just with your respiratory system. But we want you doing some exercise into the low, because I know your zone 2 went from about 116 to 124. So we know we can grow that baseline, because we call it like a triangle, right?
Yeah.
The bigger the base I can give you, the more you're conserving basically that carbohydrates. So you're not, if you're doing a cardiovascular activity, that if you're doing it for a long period of time, that you're not destroying your muscles. Because when you're out of carbohydrates, what your body's going to want to do now, because you're working too hard, so it can't use fat as a fuel, as its main source. So if it doesn't have any more carbohydrates, it's going to be eating those precious muscles you use, by lifting all the weights. So you're basically cannibalizing yourself. So what we do is we want to increase that baseline, so that way you never cannibalize your own muscles when you're working hard with not enough carbohydrates in your system. So for you, we would try to increase your baseline. From what I see, I easily can increase your baseline to like probably 132 very easily, and so that wouldn't take very long for your body to adapt. It could take 4 or 5 weeks of doing some proper zone training for you. Yeah.
Sweet.
What's your questions now?
Well, I think you pretty much covered all the questions and stuff there. You're very good at explaining everything. So
It's
yeah.
it was
What do I have to do to increase my zone training? Is that just through the bag and stuff? And
well, the zone training for that you're gonna have to build more mitochondria. So mitochondria is like in your cell. You have a cell like this. Maybe let's say one cell. Let's just say you have 5 mitochondria. But by doing your zone 2 training, this is your mitochondria. I'm gonna try to double up the amount of mitochondria per cell you have. Well, the more mitochondria you have and the more blood vessels I put in your body by getting you to walk at about 120 heart rate, well, over the course of the months to come, you're going to build double the amount of mitochondria, let's say, and you're going to be building a lot of capillaries. So that's obviously going to be building your baseline. But now when you're ready to go right at VO2 max like I had you, well, guess what? More capillaries, more mitochondria. When you open up, put it in 5th gear, you're going to have way more blood flow and way more areas to be able to get oxygen into your tissues, and you're going to be able to expel that carbon dioxide a lot easier because we built that base. And that's the whole purpose for you. Your goal is to build quality muscles, and that's what we're going to do with you. We're going to make sure that you're not going to cannibalize your muscles that you're working out, but we're also going to try to figure out a way to be able to increase more oxygen into them, so you can actually recover better and push harder.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game.
That's the name of the game.
That's right.
Yeah. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send for a report. You're going to get a full report, and you're going to get the guideline. You and I are going to go over the report after I analyze it in a little bit more detail.
Yeah.
Because we do have to have some one-on-one discussion on what I'm going to really hit you hard on, or what I want done from you, and see if I can get some commitment out of you.
There we go.
And be a better Sean.
That's right. Yeah. If you're more fit and you can breathe better, then your overall quality of life is be better too, right? Like that's for your longevity clients and stuff too. It's not just fitness; it's longevity too, right? So
it's for sure, right? The biomarker, everybody talks about the VO2 because that's a predictor, right? So if I can get you at an elite level at your age, so when we go over here, we're gonna go to my man chart here, and you are how old for the camera?
30.
So we know now where your VO2. So you are basically into the fair. So what I'm going to be doing with Sean is I'm going to be going bringing him up to 45 VO2 to 52. So if I can bring him up to an excellent, I did my job. Technically, I would want to go 2 decades earlier. So I would want you at 49. That's always my goal, is to go back 2 decades
Yeah.
and get you to the excellent level. So that means my goal for you, but it depends on your goal, I would love to have you at 49.
Yeah.
And that'll be basically, if I do that job and increase your VO2 max by 25%, I reduce your metabolic age by 7 years. If I increase your VO2 max by 50%, I reduce your metabolic age by 14 years, meaning your body feels 14 years younger. Doesn't mean you're gonna live longer than 14 years, but your body's gonna be metabolically fit like 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be like 20, like you're 16 years old.
That's crazy.
So that's basically the chart. We also have different ways to increase your VO2 max. We do altitude training, where we do a simulation. So I put your body into a hypoxic state. So now remember, we talked about the oxygen in your tissues, but here I'm going to put let's say I want you at 10,000 feet elevation. So you're going to say, well, why do you want to do that? Well, the blood level in your oxygen level in your blood at 10,000 feet would be around 85%. So if I simulate that on a treadmill with you using my respiratory device, and I keep you there for 4 or 5 minutes, take you off, give you a break, repeat, well, your body's going, what the heck is going on? So your kidney's going, this guy's like at a very hypoxic state. We need to increase red blood cells. So what it does, it triggers your spinal fluid to create what we call EPO. And if you guys know the whole story of Lance Armstrong, he was injecting, EPO into his blood. We're actually manipulating the body to create EPO into your bloodstream, because it's going, why are we at 85? Why are we at 10,000 feet? I need to be able to survive and be comfortable at this elevation. So I'm tricking the body to produce more red blood cells. So for longevity clients and for athletes, it's really good. So as long as I can keep my athletes, my pro athletes, in a hypoxic state, no more than like 3 days a week, because then you get a diminishing return. That's going to increase the VO2 max dramatically. And we did that with, like all my athletes, Phil Myers and Dylan and my boxers and so forth. And it dramatically did increase their VO2 max by about 10%. Yeah. Just by doing some hypoxic training as well as doing the respiratory training.
Is that with the machine you do the altitudes?
Yeah, so we would do like a simulation where I would be putting a pulse oximeter, and basically I get to monitor from my iPhone app, and so you would basically be breathing in this. So when you're breathing in this, you're rebreathing some carbon dioxide. You got a little bit of oxygen. If I do 10 big breaths right now, I get dizzy, I may faint, or you're going into what we call Wim Hof, right? Yeah. So you're lowering your CO2 so much you're not absorbing any oxygen. That's why we get kind of dizzy and we hallucinate or whatever the Wim Hof does. This keeps you in a perfect pH level of 7.4, because you got just enough carbon dioxide and just enough oxygen to be able to do this for a long period of time. I can get you doing this for like 20 minutes straight and you'll be fine. Now, as soon as I introduce CO2 and I get you walking on a treadmill, now I'm disrupting what this was made for. However, I can get you doing a few rescue breaths and keep you at a perfect elevation that I want you at. If I want you at 5,000 feet, I'm going to keep you right around in the 90 percentile. And again, the whole point to doing this, one point is to create EPO. The other one, for people that go live, let's say I have clients in Texas that go to Colorado. Well, to adapt them before they go so they can exercise at 6,500 feet above sea level, I basically practice them at 6,500 feet above sea level. So I get, I put their blood levels right around 90% to 88% blood oxygen level, and I get them to maintain by a certain amount of breath. And I get them to maintain that, so when they go train in Colorado at their house, they feel normal. Yeah. And it was nice to see, my clients calling me, saying, oh my gosh, it's the first time ever that it doesn't take me a month to adapt to the elevation when I'm exercising. So it's a real thing. It's fun with the technology that we have today. Yeah. Yeah. I wish I was like, being 50 years old, I wish I'd have all this stuff available for me when I was in my 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
I always wonder what I would be right now.
Yeah, it's definitely good to take advantage of there for sure. Yeah,
For sure, for sure.
All right, so I guess that kind of concludes what we're doing here. Had a great time with Gilles. There's a lot of really good information and stuff there, and it's just very eye-opening, like what just breathing and controlling like your O2 max zones and everything, your CO2 max zones and everything. So yeah, thanks to Gilles for the company today. Hit him up here in Moncton, New Brunswick if you want to improve your health, longevity, or if you want to get jacked as well too. So thanks so much, you guys. Like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more business stuff, bodybuilding stuff, and we'll see you guys soon.